Hey everybody, welcome back to the When Words Fail Music Speaks podcast with your handicapped host, James Cox. And I'm here with a great guy. He's has his music played all over the world now, as you know, as he told me before we recorded. So let me tell you about Tim McGeary. Did I say that right?
You
McGeary?
did. Yes, you did. Thanks.
Right. Tim McGeary hails from Naples, Florida. Singer songwriter born in 1954.
Yep.
He's recorded three solo records using two aliases. Two using the alias Wonderful Johnson, and
Mm-hmm.
third Tim McGeary.
Right.
Um, Titled Secondhand Saint.
Mm-hmm.
He has a long history in the '80s with the band The Rescue
Mm-hmm.
on A&M Records, recorded in London with Tony Mansfield as the producer, opening for bands like Duran Duran, Roxy Music, The Cure, and many more. Tim, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. That's what I'm doing. Things are really good. I'm having such a great time. I have been doing a lot of music during COVID because I would go up to Nashville all the time, back and forth. But like a lot of places closed down, all the places where we do like writing and stuff. So I did a lot of Zoom stuff. So what I did is I worked on my studio chops, and took some lessons. I have somebody that coaches me and stuff like that. And now I'm like producing other people. And after 2 years, I mean, there's so much more for me to learn. You know
All
what I
right,
mean?
yeah,
You never stop learning. But
not with music. Yeah,
not
with
with music.
music
No,
is
no.
like it's ever evolving, and you're like, okay, well, I can do something with that sound now that I never heard before.
I mean, any time that you think that you know it all,
You don't.
it's time to go away. It's
Right,
like do something else because it never goes. But
right.
it's I just love the power of music. I was telling to somebody else the other day, and you know, we play some big crowds, but you get like 50,000 people, right? And everyone has like different religions, different races, sexual identity, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're different, right? But when the music comes on,
That's it.
everybody's one.
That's it.
Everyone is locked into the music, and that is so powerful and spiritual. I mean, it's like, and like I had like shows like last year we had shows in Czech Republic and Germany, Scotland, and Portugal, and some of those ones were they love American music, by the way, they love it.
Right.
But the thing is, uh, they were singing some things, and I think some of the people didn't actually know what they were singing, but they were singing with me. I had this one thing called Three Shots, and I had to sing 2 shots of gin, right? And so, and Czech Republic, and I knew out of the
Yeah.
30, 40 people that were in the room, it was like a house concert. They like maybe five actually spoke English. Everyone else is like
I did.
nothing.
Yeah.
But they all sang. It's like,
Nice.
yeah, 2 shots
Yeah.
of gin. Like that. So, you know, um, and that's the thing. It's like it's the connector. It's the thing that connects people. I mean, it's funny. Like when you get like I don't know, I was a paramedic here, and I was a flight medic, of course, in a helicopter, and then they had us go to fire school. So then I was a firefighter, paramedic, flight medic, did everything,
Right.
and I also with that, it's funny, like people they have these Alzheimer's patients, like have, but once somebody starts playing some music, you know all of a sudden it's like, you know um uh they uh they remember, they
Yeah.
can remember lyrics to songs that they've never been able to remember before. It's something in that brain that opens up. So that's great. And and it's but I've had, like, I've had a really good career. I've had probably about, I think 35, 40 people. I haven't really counted lately, but that have cut my songs. One was William Shatner, from Star Trek.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I think he talked through it, right? Because he talks through songs. He don't actually sing it, right?
yeah. He
Yeah,
would do the talking, and
yeah,
he did a song with the guy, Jeff Cook from the band Alabama.
yes.
Because Jeff
Oh my
Jeff
God, I love Ella. Yeah,
Okay, so and so what William Shatner would do the talking part in the verses, and Jeff Cook would sing the choruses,
yeah.
and it was called Wrong Number, and the gist of the song was that was that he's every time death comes calling, I tell him it's wrong number, right? Which is pretty appropriate for a
Which is
guy who's
good.
90,
Right.
so so yeah,
Yeah.
so that was pretty fun. Um, but I have I just got two more cuts. Cash Creek did a song, Big That I Love song. Barefoot Joe did one, Bad Day Not to Be Here. That was cool. Um, I'm getting my songs like they're played all over, and I got a lot of radio stations around the world that are playing it. So a bunch of different songs. Like some are more because I write a bunch of different genres. I don't like. I mean, I love good songs. They can be country, they can be rock, they can be pop, they can be R&B. Whatever. It doesn't matter. When they're good, they're good. And it's like
Yeah.
and I've been luckily able to play with some people on stage, like which is this guy Gary Hannon. He wrote "Tequila Makes Your Clothes Fall." Tequila Makes Your Clothes Fall Off. That song that Garth, that one
Yeah. Right.
that and so and what's hat and so he had these songs, and so I was like on the stage with like Richie McDonald from Lone Star. So it was like Gary and me and Richie, it's like, and we did a bunch of shows, and Daryl Worley, Dave Gibson, was wrote a bunch of, when Ships Come In, like really good. I mean, I've been on the stage with some really fine writers and performers, and it's cool because it makes me up my game. You know what I mean? Like if I see somebody that's good, like it's like, wow, I better like get my A game on because
Right.
I'm sitting next
I'm
to him,
here
and
with
I'm the
Speaker
next one to sing. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, and what they do a lot of time, they what they do is like I don't know if you've been to like a Nashville round, but you get three people on stage, and then everyone take you sing, then he's saying that, and this goes
Right.
around like that. And it's sort of cool because everyone has like different styles and different voices, and people like it because you're not bored with one guy singing the whole time.
Yeah.
And then and then also like with these, you tell a little bit of the story of the song, like where it comes from, how it started. I have this one song, it's on my secondhand say, it's called "Feed That Dog." Well, a friend of mine got married, and he's a country guy, and he's got this old country grandma. She's like 90 years old, and so she gets up, she gets to little walker, gets up to the new bride. She's like, "Now, darling," she goes, "you want to have a long and happy marriage?" And of course, like new bride said, "Well, yes, ma'am, I do." He goes, "Well, honey, I'm going to tell you the secret." She goes, "Well, what is it?" She goes, "You got to be good to your man because you don't feed the dog at home. He'll be digging in the trash." I went, "Oh my God!" Like I,
Yeah.
I wrote that right down. Feed that dog.
Eat that
So
dog. Yeah.
and so I wrote it with a really good songwriter, like a big hit songwriter, the guy Buddy Brock, who's written things for Kenny Chesney and wrote Watermelon Crawl and all kinds of great, country
Mhm.
classics. So, and I called him up, and because I got a connection, I said, "Buddy," I said, "here's the story," and he goes, "Tam," he goes, "I've been writing country songs for 35 years. I ain't never heard that. You got to come over. We're writing that thing right today." So we wrote it. So, and that's on my CD. So yeah, it's you get things like that. Then I have another song that's more of a rock song. It's called "I Was There for You," and I had a friend of mine that was in a bad vehicle accident. He wasn't really hurt, but the person that hit him was this young kid, that was like, high on drugs and alcohol. He was like wasted, and he was going about 140 miles an hour on a motorcycle,
Yeah.
and hit his front fender. And when it hit him so bad, the kid was decapitated. So it was like, so this
Oof.
guy had this terrible PTSD about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He wasn't even moving. He was just sitting there, waiting to make a right hand turn. You know what I mean? And the guy came over and hit the front. So and so he had a lot, and he's a great guitar player too. He's playing some famous bands. So I won't say his name, but
Yeah.
he's doing great now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so the thing is, I called him every day, and we saw, and so because I know for being a paramedic, we had a thing called critical incident stress debriefing, and what it would do is if you had a bad call, you had counsel come in, and the thing is just to talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, get it out there, get it out there, get it out there, get it out there, get it out there. And so, you know, yeah. So the thing is, and so I did that, and then that's the song's about. You never know what song's gonna come from. You know,
Right. Exactly.
um, I have a song called "Hold On." I don't know if you know my history, but I lost my 18-year-old son in a car accident 17 years ago. It was on
Okay.
May 7th, and but I'll tell you a beautiful story.
Yeah.
So about 10 days after the celebration of life, went outside, and this single white flower grew up. Now we had been in our house 12 years, so we knew what grew in your what grows in your yard. You know what I mean? Pretty much no surprises.
Pretty much what you want. You right. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So but we never saw that flower before, and it rained, and it was right in this path where we had a giant schnauzer. I don't know if you've seen a giant schnauzer, but they're like 110-pound schnauzer, but the size of a Great Dane. They're huge.
Right.
So, and he would run outside the door to try to catch squirrels. So there was a path, right? And it grew right in that path, and this dog would run through anything. But when it got to the flower, it ran around it. We're like, whoa, okay, that's different. So a couple of days later, my wife went out, and the original flower closed up, and there was five white flowers just like the first one. So she went to call me, and when she got to the phone, the nurse from the organ donation called, and the phone she picked it up. She said, "I just want to tell you that five lives were saved from your son's gift." So
Wow.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, yeah. So we've had some really spiritual things, and and I mean, and it's there's always a hole in your heart, and that, but there's
Yeah.
joy in our house, there's joy in our lives now, and of course we miss him and say like, what kind of person, what kind of man would he be today? He would, but um, that you live in. So I guess I've been through some stuff. Um,
Yeah.
37 years clean and sober.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah,
Congratulations, man.
yeah. Well,
Hell yeah.
go on tour with Billy Idol for 40 dates. Yeah.
Right,
So
yeah.
back in the day, we were bad
Yeah.
back then.
Oh,
So
man. Well,
yeah.
well, I think everybody was because in my 20s, I'm 43 years old right now. My 20s, I
Okay.
used to party hard, with my friends, and so I understand, partying can get you. It's a fun time for then, but it's like I don't want to, it's like consequences later on in life is not very good.
Yeah. No. Well, I just lost two friends.
Yeah.
One to fentanyl and one to alcohol. I
Oh,
mean, the one guy, alcohol, was like this actor that was in tons of movies and TV shows. Just the nicest guy. We've written, I don't know, maybe 20 songs, maybe 25 songs together.
yeah.
And drank himself to death. And it's
Mm,
just like,
yeah.
put the bottle to his head and pulled the trigger, and it just, crushed me. And then my other friend that was like a great musician, he'd been on, the AGT and The Voice and all that stuff, and, phenomenal, and, lead singer of some of these big rock bands, and just incredible genius, you know what I mean? Died of fentanyl. I was like, oh, God, come on. So but the thing is, I'm grateful for my addiction. And everyone goes like, "What? Like, are you crazy?" But no, because I'm clean now, 37 years.
Right.
So the thing is, for me, is like I've helped a lot of people because
Yeah.
they say, "Well,
Yeah.
how do you know?" Because if I didn't go through it, how would they even think? Like, well, you don't know what it's like. Oh, I know
Oh,
exactly what it's like.
yeah.
I went to
33
two
years old,
rehabs.
right?
Yeah, I
Right.
didn't.
Yeah.
The first one didn't work very well,
Okay.
and I would have had like 39 years clean. But
Okay.
I started drinking again, and then I went out. And my cocaine was my go to.
Yeah.
So that's why I haven't touched anything now. I don't drink and nothing. You know what I mean?
Good.
But
Good.
my life is great, and and we've been through, this is through the death of my son. I was down here and I lost a business, so we were homeless, and my wife and I was working two jobs, sleeping maybe 3 hours a day between two cook jobs. But one of the cook jobs, the waitresses were going to EMT school, and I
Mm,
went, oh, I could probably do that. I'm the oldest of 10 kids, so I've always
right.
taken care of people, right? So I thought, okay, I could do that. Well, the rest is history.
Yeah.
And I worked really hard. I did a ton of overtime to get my retirement up there, and it worked. And so now, you know, we were pretty comfortable, and all I got to do is music, and me and my wife, and I just moved my middle daughter. And when Ian hit, they lost everything. Their house got flooded, and they
Right.
lost their car. So they were here for nine months, and then all what happened was we we were good after that. It was awesome because we had a um I just drove them up to Philadelphia, and they got an apartment up there. So it was a long drive home, though.
Yeah.
20 hours in the car by yourself is a long drive home. But I was telling my wife, I go, she's like, you're supposed to stop off. And I know, but I stopped at Waffle House and got an all American breakfast. And I had a couple cups of coffee, and I was wide awake. I was like, okay, well, I don't know if I want to spend 150 on a hotel to sleep for 6 hours. I'll just power. And at that time of night, when it's like 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the morning, there's no one on the road.
Right.
You put you're on the highway, cruise control, go. You know what I mean? And a lot of times when I'm in the car because I'm a songwriter, my brain never stops thinking about songs or melodies.
Right.
So all of a
Yeah.
sudden, I'm like, my brain's going. I'm like, da da da. Oh yeah, I got my little memo. Ba 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 ba. I got this lyric or I got this melody. I sing it into the phone and you
Yeah.
record it. So because that's the curse about being a songwriter. The thing is, it's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is you can write a song that can connect with people. The curse is you can never turn it off. It
Exactly.
just it just never turns off. It's just I'm on. My wife's like, "Do you ever stop thinking about music?"
Nope.
Nope. It's like,
I knew it before you even said the word no, because okay, so one thing I want to go back on, and that you said before, which was pretty powerful to me, was which is our motto, is you said something about the power of music.
oh yeah,
Our motto here is fighting depression with the power of music. You know,
that's right. Yeah,
so
I mean, go ahead.
so my question to you is uh, you just told us some tragedies you've experienced in life with like your son and friends.
Hmm.
So the I don't want to get in your business totally, but I have depression. Okay, and
Hmm.
and do you have depression or are you? I mean, like because I don't want to dig deep into your life like that, but
That's okay.
yeah,
No, I'm a pretty much of an optimist, no
okay,
matter what.
okay.
You know what I mean? I
The
mean,
re-
do I have low points? Sure you do.
yeah,
Everyone doesn't. Not no one's like happy all the time. You
no,
know what I
no
mean?
one
That's
can be.
not
Yeah, yeah,
reality.
yeah. You need to
No.
be sad
But
sometimes
I
in
mean,
life.
and and I've had right, and I've had some low points, but you know what I mean. But and my wife's and she can sort of tell like sometimes like I don't eat like I'm eating more things I shouldn't be eating, and I'm just quiet, and that kind of stuff. And it happens once in a while, but it happens rarely now because I have because of music. Music's cathartic.
It is.
I
It is.
mean, it can really I write some songs, that when I'm writing them, I'm crying.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
when I'm writing them, it make me cry. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, like this
See
is
that
really. We
that.
wrote this song called "I'm Gonna Say."
Oh, go, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we wrote this song called "I Can Save You," and it's about a firefighter who dies in a fire, right? And of course, that's really close to my heart. But like, there was three of us writing it, and we're writing this song, and all three of us were crying. We're like, what the heck? And because like these got two of them like, I never cried writing a song. They said like, what's I just and then but that song got us. So we won like first place on this some kind of it was a festival for that song, and the prize was a demo at uh, Laird Studios, which is a really good studio, really nice studio, in Nashville. So, but we had a time limit, so we had to write this song, and I had this idea called "I Will," and because I've been working with some vets and stuff like that. We're going through, PTSD and all that kind of stuff, and so we were helping them, and we used to put a show together. Like, the VFW would get a guy, and he would like he's having a hard time, so we put a show together, and the end of the show, we'd hand him like 3-4 grand. Here we go, here's 3-4 thousand. Pay your rent, get your car fixed, whatever you needed. And the guy really appreciated it. But so and that song is beautiful, and so that's getting shopped right now. I think Alison Krauss got a copy, and Trish Yearwood, stuff like that. There's a guy shopping it pretty heavy to some heavy people that gets it to him. So it's a beautiful song though. And Scott Jeffrey East sang it for us as a demo singer. He's really good. He's written some songs for like a Rascal Flatts. He's a really good, great songwriter and artist himself. And I met him one time because there's a songwriting festival down here called the Island Hopper Festival. It's in New York in Sanibel Beach and Captiva, and I've been doing that it's a BMI thing. And he was there. And I go, "Oh, Jeffrey," I goes, "I mean, I want to thank you so much for singing that song because it just." And he goes, "It's easy to sing that kind of when you have a good song. It's like it's a great song. It's like it's great to sing." And he likes singing it. So we're like, wow. So that was cool. But I mean, those are the kind of things like where they come from. Like just like life things. Hold on is about like the day after somebody passes away that that you're what's the next day going to be like? You know what I mean? How am I going to do it? And everyone's going to go like, time will heal all wounds. Shut up. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
I don't want,
Music
no one wants to
heals.
hear that when you're.
Music heals all wounds. Kind of, sort of.
Well, it does. Yeah, I have, there's things that I have that songs that I have that like, that are about that. There's one called Miracles, and that talks about the five flowers. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I
Yeah.
had this guy sang it, yeah. And it was cool. The guy that sang it is a Christian artist. He's a piano player, but he's blind. So
Mm.
when he sang the lyrics, he was reading them in Braille as he sang. I thought
Wow.
that was the coolest thing ever. I
Wow.
think it was like that's the coolest, you know
Yeah.
and he's super. Oh, he's super talented. So it was an honor to have him do it. So I mean, like and that's the thing. And I just the other day I had this. There's a song called "American Made." I don't know if the Caden sent that one to you or the church or any
I
of the
don't think he
songs or
did yet.
anything.
No, not yet.
So I just had another interview, and the lady puts this video on of American Made, and there's all these pictures. It's like, and I go at the end of it, I go, "Hey, thank you so much for putting that video together." She goes, "I didn't do that." I what? Yeah, somebody just did it. Like what? I it's on your YouTube channel. What?
Yeah.
Somebody just like they heard I did a song like in a station in Wyoming, and
Mhm.
somebody heard the song, he loved it, and he put a whole video together with it. Like, it's like, and all these pictures of me. I'm going, where do you get them pictures from?
No, I didn't take those pictures.
So yeah,
Yeah.
but I think what how cool that is, right? I mean, it's like this guy is like stuff like that. I'm also very spiritual. I have this
Right.
tattoo. It's like it says, "Be the feather on the breath of God."
Oh,
You know what I
nice.
mean? Which I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
And then I have this other one. It's called 26 and 12, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of people think that's a psalm thing. I go, no, it's not a psalm thing. I go, nothing wrong with psalms, but I'm just saying.
No, right.
But it's basic as a songwriter. We have 26 letters, right, in the alphabet, and we have 12 notes. That's it. Different octaves, but
Right.
12 notes, C to C. That's it. So you think about that, it's like, whoa. And that's our palette. That's what we get to work with.
Mhm.
So now write a song with the melody, within those 12 notes and using these 26 letters. I mean, if you think you go to a library with a million books, they're all written with 26 letters and they're all different.
Right.
It's pretty cool, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's like I never thought of that. Somebody showed me that one, I'm like, wow.
That's fair. Mind blown, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but no, I love music, and I love to be, help people like I do, like a lot of young songwriters and stuff. We had one time we had and these are kind of things too. I tell when you go out there and sing, you always bring 100%, always,
Always.
because you never know who's going to be there.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine had a show, and it was in a small town, and he goes, "Listen, I need somebody to close the show out with me. It's like some open mic thing. Can you come out?" And I go, "Yeah, I'll be there." Now I had written three songs that day, three different co-writes. Now ask anybody who does co-writes. After like the second one, you're pretty spent. After the third one, your brain is
You're
fried. I
gone.
mean, like you're like, oh man.
Right.
But I promised him I'd be there, and I'm like the kind of person, a man of my word. If I'm going to do something by this time, I'm going to get
Do
it
it.
done. And I
Right.
said I was going to be so there. So we play about 6, 7 songs. We're all done. PA goes off, guitars on our back, and we're stepping off the stage, and seven women and a guy come in, and they go, "Hey, we really want to hear music." I'm like, oh man. Okay. Tell you what, I'm not going back on the PA. I
Right.
said, just let's get your chairs in a little semicircle. And so I played them a bunch of songs. And when I was finished, I had one CD left, and I said, "Well, listen, I'll give this to you." She goes, "Thank you so much." And he goes, and I didn't, and she goes, "I didn't tell you, but I work for Luke Bryan. So what song do you want me to pitch from the CD to Luke?"
Everyone.
So, so what I'm saying is like like the thing is, you never know you're gonna play from. I think the
Right. Yeah.
Police,
Yeah. You never know.
one of their one of the first shows they had, there was a giant snowstorm. So when they played, four people showed up. Four, right?
Mhm.
And they played, you know what I mean? But one of those four was like the biggest DJ in New York.
Yeah.
And when he heard Roxanne, he goes, "That's a hit song."
No, you never
And the
know.
rest is history.
Yeah.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
So there you go. So so that's the moral of the story. And I work with a lot of young artists, that they're new and stuff like that. So I said, listen, every time you go out, you be there on time, you do your show, 100%, 110%. You bring it every single time because you
Right.
don't know who's going to be out there. You know what I mean? And if you, and it could be an opportunity for you. And that's why I'm like spreading these songs all over the planet because I don't know who's going to listen to it. I've
Yeah.
had
Somebody might pick it up, and
yeah,
make it their
and
own.
I,
Yeah.
and I've had like a lot of songs on TV shows and stuff like that, like Smallville, One Tree Hill, Glory Days, and a bunch of other ones. So the thing is, I have uh, that's another whole thing. That's a whole nother ball of wax. It's a different style of writing. You can't like American Made is what when I wrote that song. I was about there when I first went to Nashville. Like I think I'm a songwriter. I have records. I know what I'm doing,
Right.
dude. I was totally schooled. It's like I was like,
Yeah.
son, let me show you. But I had some really nice people. I humbled up,
Oh yeah.
and they taught me a lot of stuff. And they always have this thing called they say furniture in the room, and that is like visual stuff. And when I wrote this song called American Made, like I do the first verse. It's the smoking pipes of a Harley and the rumble that they make, the laughter of a child, her first July parade. You're at a baseball diamond on a hot summer night, and you got a hot dog and an ice cold beer, and you're singing the national anthem as you're holding back a tear. You can see all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
You can see the kid laughing. You can see the hot dog and the beer, and I mean,
Singing the national anthem. Yeah. Yeah.
because I don't remember. I don't know if you're. Well, yeah, you were around when Whitney Houston. When after the tower and she sang that national. I cried, man. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that just like I never heard anybody sing it like that. It
Right.
was like it really touched me. And between you and me, I hate singing that song because I'm so afraid of screwing up the lyrics, and I've
I
had to do it a few
I think
times. Like ah,
yeah, I think everybody is, but speaking of the national, I don't think it's national anthem. It might be America the Beautiful, but if you watch the past Super Bowl, Chris
right,
Stapleton did a great job of like of the national anthem. Did
right.
did
Oh yeah,
watch this- and I'm sure I mean the bit like the and I'm sure he was frightened too, because
right.
everybody's like kind of weary about the song. What if I mess up?
Well,
'Cause that's one song. That's one
it's
song you really can't mess up at all. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think the national anthem should be America, the beautiful
Mm.
for space. That's like a nation. That
That
should
would
be.
be.
But the other one is like,
Yeah.
oh, say, can you see, mother? It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a hard song to sing,
Yeah.
and you better start it low because you're gonna have to hit
You're
some
gonna
notes,
go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So I mean, and you don't want to Roseanne Barr it, you know what I mean?
No. God. Yeah. I think she did that on purpose. There's no way she could. She
Oh
could have
God,
done it on purpose. But
I know.
I want to
So
talk to you about some things though. I'm looking at your SoundCloud, and you have 70 something songs on there. So I just want to go through some of them. It's a great big world. Which
hmm
reminds me of a Phil Collins Genesis vibe.
yeah.
When you were writing that song, did you think was Genesis and Phil Collins like an
Well,
inspiration for that song?
hmm
'Cause I have.
well, I wrote that with my friend Casey Timmer,
Okay.
and he wrote Kelsey Ballerini, one of her big hits,
Yeah.
and he's a really good writer, and he's a friend of mine, and the whole thing is like it's a great big world because like some people some people are like living in a box and someone's got a new penthouse.
Yeah.
Someone's got a
Right.
broken down car and somebody just bought a new one. Somebody
Yeah.
just, someone's retiring and saying a grandchild and someone's having their first baby. And it was just a thing is like, there's so many people, to be open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This whole like anti woke thing is like we're number one. I mean,
Stupid. Yeah.
woke is basically it was from the black culture like 20 years ago, and it was just the word was just to be aware, to have empathy. But they
Right.
sort of like made it like it's like this awful thing, because I mean, and and I know there's some crazy people on the right and crazy people on the left. You know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah. We're all
And
crazy.
and who gets the most attention? You know what I mean?
Right.
They do.
Yeah.
But most people are in the center. I had this guy in Texas one time, an old guy. He's like, Tim, he goes, I won't tell you now. He goes, you need to ride in the left because you can't fly a plane with one wing. It will never get off the ground. And I
Right.
go, yeah, exactly. Because there's good points in the left and there's crazy point. There's good points on the right and there's bad points. So the
Right.
thing is, let's get all the good points, what's good for everyone. And the thing is, most people are good.
Yes.
That's another thing. People like, because because when you watch the news, I
It's
did a
all bad.
show,
It's all bad stuff, and you're like, okay, one bad's taking over. No, it's not.
and it's not. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
I did a show, and this guy's brother used to work for CBS, a news channel, national. His whole job was to find awful stories for 20 years.
That's right.
Every worst story you could ever find, and
That's
then he'd bring in,
yeah.
so. But I was going to say, like, I worked, I was with the DMAT team, which is Disaster Medical Assistance Team, when the towers fell. So we worked and we stayed we were on ground zero for 2 weeks,
Right.
helping firefighters and steel workers stuff like
Yeah.
that.
That's what I was. Yeah.
And so the thing is, there were so many random acts of kindness, and
Yeah.
we were there, for weeks, and it was the last day before we were going to leave home. It was the Columbus Day parade, and there was 900 people from the state of Oregon that said, "We love New York.
Right.
You're our brothers and sisters in America. We're going to come to your city." They all flew out there. I think the logistics of putting 900 people on planes. Oh, right. They flew out to New York, and they sit there, and they went out to restaurants and bought, and and they marched with us in the parade. Now, you never heard about that, but
Right.
how cool is that?
Yeah.
That citizens just said, "Hey, we're going to." Then, like, I worked with the people in Katrina, and we were going to New Orleans with DMAT team, and they said, "Listen, we're going to send you to San Antonio, to Kelly Air Force Base. We have 5,000 people out there, and you
Right.
need to go there because they have no medicine, they have nothing." So and we had like a mass unit, like we had like everything. We had a pharmacy and everything, right? So it was a 2 day trip because we were in trucks. They don't go that fast. So we're at this hotel, and there was about 20 families there, right? That had no more money. Some guy came by and goes, "Here's my visa. I will pay for all these people to stay here till they find a place to go."
Mm.
Did you ever hear about that? No.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I mean, like, and then there's this funny stuff too. Like, we had there was to get to San Antonio, we had to go on that Route 10, right? And there was a chemical spill. So there was this truck driver, and we didn't. And he said, "Listen, I know a way around it. It's going 100 miles out of his way to show us."
Right.
But so we're sitting getting gas for the trucks, or and there's across the street. There's all these like roosters in these cages, and it's a farm thing. But there was a club there, like a nightclub. And I go, "What's with that club over there?" And he goes, "Tim," goes, "that's a really, really bad place. When you go in there, they ask you if you got a gun or a knife, and if you don't have one, they give you one." It's like,
Right. Nice.
so so I mean, that was cool. But
Wow.
so many, but
Yeah.
I could tell you so many, and even with Ian, here in my daughter's neighborhood where they were, that everyone's house was ruined. It's just like
Yeah.
the water was like 4 or 5 feet in, so everything in your house was gone. And there was these groups of young adults coming in. "Hey, do you need to pull your stuff out to the curb? Like your all your soap and all stuff was ruined, to help you move your stuff." People coming in with water and fruit and sandwiches for anybody that because you had no refrigeration, right? And then the church around the block had hot meals for everyone in the neighborhood. And that's what we do as Americans. What I love about our country, when things seem to go the worst, we are at our best.
Yes, we are.
You know, but we just need to do it all the time. Let's be our best. I have friends that, like, look, I'm pretty liberal. Okay, I'm a musician. All right. I have friends that are like really right wing, big Trumpers and stuff. We're still friends. We
Oh
still
yeah.
talk. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I don't hate. I don't hate anybody for their political whatever. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the way you treat me, and the way and we respect each other, and I respect them for, like, what they do. I don't understand it, but I get it. Okay, so, and you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
and I think that's what we need to do. We need to have like discourse, but the news and all this stuff they're using it to polarize people.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But most people are good. They had a thing one time. They had like 1,000 people, and they said, if you found a wallet with money in, what would you do with it? And 96, 97% of people said, "Oh, I'd return it to the owner,"
Yeah. Which is right thing to do. Right.
which is, most people do the right thing.
Yeah,
And
right. Yeah,
so we have to remember that because we don't remember that. So and so
because I always look at it as news and what did they promote bad stuff, and that's
yeah.
why that's why
What
I refuse to have a cable in my house because I mean I with me and depression it just furthers my depression hearing about bad stuff all the time, and I
Yeah,
can't.
but if and there's so many good things. There's people like so many random acts of kindness. I can tell you over and over and over, like tons of them that I've witnessed myself,
Yeah.
in these situations. So most people are good. So I just want to tell you that. So don't be depressed about that because we're
Oh,
okay. We're
yes,
okay. We're
yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
you know.
We are.
So and
We're okay.
I mean, and the thing is, like, like, so, like, and that's one thing that, like, like music can do. And music can, hey, music can make you laugh, make you, make you cry, make you, feel horny. I don't know, whatever, like, whatever you want to use it,
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. And that's the power of it, and it's beautiful. And it's like, and that's why, like, we need music. We
We
need
do.
music.
Yeah.
I mean, people need it. I mean, how many times, like, you have a song, there's like a song, like, you hear that song and you go, this really good memory. Oh, yeah, that was really fun. We're driving to so and so, or, you know what I mean? Or my friends, we were rocking out to something. I mean, there's always like stuff like that. Um, I've had like, I mean, I've had a really good ride. We did the record in England and stuff like that for Rescue. I was also in a band called Neighbors and Allies before that, and I'll tell you a cool Bowie story.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Yeah.
okay, they had we were roadie for a guy named Richard Hell and the Voidoids, right? And he was like sort of a punk band. So we used to do the roading for him, and we just said, Richard, if we can. And there's a club in New York called CBGB's. I don't know if you heard of that. It was a famous
Yes.
rock club.
Yeah.
It was terribly
Few times.
it was beat to the bone, but it just
Right.
sounded good, and
Right.
and everyone played there. So we told Richard, and they used to do a thing. You play Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. So we said, Richard, if you let us open up for you Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, all 3 nights, okay, and we will roadie for free, and you can have the whole door. And he's like, really? I mean, you work for free, and I can have, and all the money comes to me. Yep, okay. So we play Thursday night. We get off stage and we get off, and he's uh, like you guys are like really good. Like he thought we are
Yeah.
gonna be like terrible. Like
Oh
his
no.
band was getting nervous.
Right.
So, but we do Thursday night, and Jimmy Destry, the keyboard player for Blondie, was there. They were friends, and they were sort of came together. Talking Heads, that whole group.
Yeah.
And so Friday night we finished our set, and we had a guy that was from a band, like a manager guy, a tour manager for a band called Magazine out of Scotland, and he was staying at our band house for a couple of days, and he said, "I'll do the roadie for you because David Bowie's out there and wants to meet you." And we're like, "What? David Bowie wants to meet us?" We're like, "Huh?" Like 5-year-olds in short pants, like, we're like, "Oh my god!" So the coolest guy, so nice, and I have other people that know him too, but and I
Oh yeah.
won't
Yeah.
get into that. But so we just sat down, with some beers, we're talking music and culture and all that kind of stuff. Just and he's sort of sussing you out, and he's like, he told me, he goes like, you just want to be a rock star, and I go, guilty,
Yep.
what I mean? Yeah, you're right.
Hell no.
Okay, I was, back then I was, young and stupid, but
Yeah.
um, but the cool thing is, so at the end of the night, he's leaving, and he asked the doorman. He goes, "What is that opening band getting paid?" And they go, "Oh, they're not." And he goes, "Yeah, they are." He took $900 out of his wallet and paid us.
Nice.
Isn't that
Oh
cool? Now,
yeah.
now, now I know it's like $900, like, but this is like in 1979 when nine
That's a
hundred
lot of
dollars
money.
that was a lot of money back
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
and it just yeah. And how cool was that? So I'm one of the few people that said David Bowie paid for me to play. It's like,
Who else
you know,
can say that, right?
I mean, who could say that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right. Yeah.
but very nice, just, and I've heard some other people that know him and been in situations. It's always the same thing. Total gentleman, loves creativity. You know what I mean? Hard worker. Focused. I mean, just yeah, and so it's sad that he left. And
Yeah.
when he did, but it was the way he did it when didn't tell anybody about him being sick. Is a typical way he would do it. He would just, it's private. It's my family. You
Yeah,
know.
that's the way that Norm Macdonald went out. The comedian, he didn't tell anybody that he had cancer, and from
Right.
I hear
Yeah.
anybody either. So yeah, so I
It's like,
think I think that they wanted to not because when you put that like I have some kind of cancer out there in the public, everybody goes crazy. Everybody, and I don't think that they wanted all that attention. At the worst part of their life. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's why they had this thing with David Bowie. They go, well, what do you think it's like to be a rock star, and married to a supermodel? He goes, how do you like your life? He goes, I don't know. I'm a rock star and I'm married to a supermodel. It's great. It's like, yeah, like,
Yeah, yeah,
real,
because
yeah. Does it get better than that? I mean, come on,
yeah,
But I mean, the thing is, like, as a songwriter, there's something cool about because right now, like, everyone's got a phone, like, so to be a songwriter, like I play live, and I do stuff like that. But no one really knows who I am unless like you're a person come to see me. Um, but there's like guys like Jeffrey Steele. Now Jeffrey Steele written tons of number 1 hits, tons, right?
mm,
And he's millions of dollars he's made.
right,
Phenomenal guitar player, great singer. You know what I mean? If he walked into a play, you never know who he is. You know what I mean? I know the guys that wrote some big songs. One guy, like, and they made $11 million from one song.
right.
11 million, one
One,
song,
wow.
and they were the writers. They weren't the performers. They just wrote it. They stayed home,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
so they can go anywhere. And no, but think about, like, if you're famous and everyone has a video, right?
Yeah.
And you have a scratch in an inappropriate place, and you're scratching your
It's part of
inappropriate,
okay. Yeah.
and they click, oh, look at him,
Yeah.
Tim McGeary, the ball scratcher, great, man. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, it's terribly to be famous today. I mean, it's like so
Yeah.
hard, you know, and because you got crazies out there and all that kind of stuff. So, I
Now
mean,
that you mentioned that, I want to ask you this question because I know you've seen it. At one of your pick any concert, you'll see like 14,000 phones up in there recording you. You know, how do you feel about that? That people aren't like actively participating in what you're doing. They're just so focused on getting like the next big video concert. They're not paying attention to you. How do you feel about that?
well, um, you
Because
see,
because on
I
one hand,
have,
because on one hand
like,
it's good. I mean, they'll take it back home to their friends and like, oh my god, look at this guy. You gotta check this guy out. He's great. Tim McGeary. But on the other hand, it's like a social media world now that you cannot get rid of the phone at all, and that makes me mad most times.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me is like, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
For me, I'm so focused because I'm also producing other people, right?
Right.
So I do my own music and then I produce other people. So I do both. So for me, it doesn't, like, I don't care, like, I don't, uh, I like playing live. It's fun. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because I like people. I
Yeah.
like meeting
I
people.
love people.
Like meeting
Yeah.
you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so, and the thing is, so, and we talk, and we get to know each other. And what I like about, like I mean, I've done 25,000 seaters, and big giant shows for 2 years. After we got signed, we went out like for 2 years and was only 5 to 25,000 seaters for 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Big shows, and it was fun. But I will tell you, I actually enjoy the house concerts with like 30, 40 people. You sit in a room, I do a private concert in their house, and I talk to them and I meet them and we become friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Oh
it's
yeah.
not just fans. You become like friends. You know what I mean? That,
Right.
and so, and how cool is that? So, and that's a real connection. And so, and that's what I love. I mean, somebody said, like, well, how long are you gonna do it for? How long are you gonna be singing? Well, I'll sing till, like, I guess I can't, you know what I mean? And but right now I think it's funny because I'm older, but my voice is better than it's ever been.
Right.
It's like, I don't know
It's
what
time.
happened,
Yeah.
but maybe it's just me singing all the time. I
Yeah.
sing every day. Every day, like, I do a warm up.
Good.
So,
Good.
and I do a lot of live streaming shows. Like, I do one on this tomorrow on the Music Club on Facebook. If you want to go, you can watch me do live.
Yeah.
Um, and I do a lot of that stuff. So, and I do that. Like, so I do live shows here. I do some streaming shows. There's one I have one that's music from Scotland, and every time I do one, I get 5 to 13,000 people that watch it.
Wow.
I mean, that's
That's amazing.
it's
Yeah.
like doing a concert, you know.
Right.
So, and I don't leave my house, but I do like
Right.
leaving my house. Not that
Yeah.
I'm not. I like playing live in front of
Yeah.
people. You know what I
Well,
mean? Because
I
because
think
it's, it,
I think live is the best feeling you can get. You know, because you've seen people's reactions. They're like, yes. You're like, yeah. Oh, you know, and you see them cry. You know,
yeah.
so I think it's the best thing in
Mm-hmm.
the world. You know, me, I don't
Oh
like
yeah.
being home at all. Being home for me it sucks the most. You know, so I like getting out and experiencing life. You know.
Right. But the thing is, like, I mean, look what you're doing. You have a show. It's cool. You know what I mean? You're talking to musicians and stuff like that. I mean, you can either, I can either think about what's wrong in my life, or I can think about what's right in my life. You know what I mean? You know, it's like that. And so the thing is, and there's my nephew Sean. He's a like a yoga instructor, and he has this story, and he talks about two glasses, one half filled with milk and one half filled with water, right? Now, the water is the world and everything around it, and the milk is you, right? So the thing is, if I pour the water into the milk, you know, and it would just mix, right?
Right.
And it affects the milk.
Right.
But say I work the milk, I churn it, you know what I mean? I keep on churning it, which is working on me being liking who I am, right? And liking my world. And I keep on working it, right? And then it's cream. And then it turns into butter. What
Mm.
happens if I pour water onto butter? Does it get into the butter? No, because I'm so strong in me,
Oh,
as to who I am.
that's powerful.
Hear
That's
what I'm
very.
saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a I watched a yogi said this thing. I was like, wow, that really resonated with me because if you're strong in yourself, like people like, yeah, well, you're this. I go, yeah, I know. Anything else you want to tell me? I know who I am. You know what I mean? So I like myself.
Yeah.
You know, it took me a long time to do it. You know what I
Right.
mean? But
Right.
I, you know, and you know, not that I'm proud, but just I like who I'm going. I like what I'm doing. I like my music. I like talking to people. I like performing. You know what I mean? I got a great wife. We've been married. We'll be 43 years coming up in November. We've been through hell and
Congratulations.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and we figured out like, hey, we stick together. We'll just no matter what, we'll just be good. Now we got the greatest life. You know what I mean? Because like, when I'm retired, my retirement's really good. We have a beautiful house with a pool, which I never thought I'd have. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
And so oh, I got hair here.
Oh, it is.
Wait a minute. All right, come on. So you know, and the thing is, the reason why I got that because I just I did the right thing. I made good choices. You know what I mean?
Right.
For the first time in my life, and and so and then the thing is, I don't let the world affect me. Like it's
That's great.
like
Great.
my wife will like read something political and she and I go like, stop. It does.
There's nothing
I
for
know.
your soul, man.
Well, the thing is, I had this thing like this thing. Don't let them rent space in your head. You know what I mean?
That's
I mean,
key. Yeah.
because it doesn't feel like he made me mad. I go, no, no, he didn't. You let yourself get mad.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's a thing one time. There's a guy. It's great. It's a great thing. So this guy, this is just a story, but a guy's going to come down, and God asks him, "What do you want to learn this life?" Right? And he goes, "I want to learn about forgiveness, and I want to be reliant." He goes, "Okay." He goes, "Okay, I'm going to make your dad a drunk and a felon. He's going to leave you when you're 4, and you're not going to give him when you're 50." And the guy's like, "Whoa, like
That's
that sucks for my dad." And he goes, "No, no, your dad loves you, and he knows that you want to learn this lesson. So he's going to be this person in this life, so you learn it." And the thing is, so it's like on the plane of like where we are, you and me, like right today, right? This guy might like, a butthead, right? Like not a nice person.
right.
But on the soul level, on that level, it might be he was put there for a reason because they love you and you wanted to learn that lesson. And man, when I heard that, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like when you're in the express lane at the supermarket and you got like a 95-year-old woman counting change to pay for her 25 things and she's in the wrong aisle.
Yeah.
Yeah, grandma. I'm like, I just go, hey, thanks for teaching me patience. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
right.
mean,
Yeah.
it just changed me. So like, and the thing is, and so if I think, if I'm optimistic, I'm thinking of the good parts of my life most of the time. What happens is the universe will bring that. So it's like, it brings what you think about. Thoughts are things, they're vibrations. They really are. People like, oh no, no, it's not. You know people that are negative all the time.
Oh yeah,
Like
I know a lot of
every time
people.
you go to a restaurant, right? It's
Yeah,
the wrong thing. It ain't cooked right. It's
I,
cold,
I,
right?
I actually work at a restaurant, so I know exactly what you're saying.
Right? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And they're always like,
Oh,
it's
yeah. You can't
no
please.
matter every time you go out with them, it's like something's not working,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and you love them anyway, but it's like, dude, you
Yeah.
got to
Chill
change it
out, man. Yeah. It's like chill, man. Yeah, everything's.
because
Yeah.
because when you think that way, that's what you're telling. The universe provides what you want, right? But it's a two-edged sword. So if you're thinking about negative stuff all the time, it goes like, sure, that's what you're thinking about. Guess that's what you want. Let
Right.
me give it to you. Or I could think about positive stuff and good things, and and I think about that all the time. Oh, that's what you want? Okay, let's do that. So the thing is, and that's what I am. I'm like, my wife will tell you, I'm like, because I lost the business, I was bankrupt, and
Right.
got a situation that we get some money, and so we wanted to get a mortgage, and she's like, we're not going to get a mortgage. We haven't been bankrupt. It wasn't even a year ago. And I go, yeah, we are. We're going to build a house. No, it's not going to happen. I go, yeah, we are. And sure enough, well,
Sure
you
enough,
see
you
what
did.
I'm in. I'm
Yeah.
in it. I'm in
Yeah.
it.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
so the thing is, I'm an optimist, and I think about the best of people, and sometimes like I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I will say, sometimes I've been, my wife's good. She's pretty good with people, like sussing them out, but I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, like and treat them nice and see if they'll back. But like if they screw me or do something wrong, it's like okay, done. You know what I mean? I had to learn that. I this is somewhere I was at like a long time ago, but I was like 20 years old and I was playing this guy. There's a pinball machine, right? And no one was around it. And so I go put my quarter in, and this guy runs up. He goes, "Man, you just ruined my game." And he's like, "Yeah, so I'm gonna ruin your game." And he put a quarter in, like I'm going. I was so infuriated. I wanted to smash this guy's head in. And like 20 years later, I would think about, to smash his head. The guy's probably dead. Like,
Right.
what am I doing? Like, I'm
Yeah.
spending all this energy and all this
Right.
rage for nothing. It's
Right.
insane. So I learned to like, when things like that, I just, I let it go. I just don't let, and it's supposed to being a paramedic. You can't
Yeah.
freak out.
Right.
You have to be level head. Like, when I first started, a guy told me this guy, and when I first started, he goes, Tim, the crazier the scene gets, the more bodies, whatever, the calmer you get.
Really.
I mean, yeah,
Huh.
because you have to be the one in charge. Like I was a
Yeah.
lieutenant,
Mm.
so I'm lieutenant, so and doing the medical, so I got to get everyone. You need to go here. You need to do this, do that. I'm delegating. Getting done quickly and right.
Mm.
Uh, no, so uh, that's actually learn. That's a lesson for me in life. You know what I mean? So to be calm, to be, and that's like the butter. I'm like, I'm strong in myself. So when the world does these things,
Right.
yeah, okay, whatever. Now I'm not saying once in a while I get aggravated like somebody cuts
Well,
me off
yeah,
driving,
yeah. It's like
but
you
I'm
got
not gonna,
like.
but I'm not gonna like cut them off and give them the finger. No, it's just
Uh,
no. It doesn't serve me. What serves me is being calm, and being happy.
right.
So, and that's the situation I want to stay. I want to stay happy. So, and I want to be in fulfilled. And then, so music does that with me too. You know what I mean? And I get to like, write a song, or sing a song. Like I also do things on it. It's called Songs of Love, and what they do is they have kids that have like debilitating diseases like cancer and other things, and brain tumors and all kinds of stuff. And what they do is they give you their name and all their favorite things, their food and all that. And I write a personal song for them.
Mm.
So and it's really cool. And the kids love it. You know, it's just like, you're right, because I'm writing them their hit single. You
Right.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah. That's perfect.
and so to me, it's like that's a good karma thing for me. You know what I mean? So I do that. They send me one or two a month. So I've been doing that for a while. And a selfish point of that, I learned a lot doing recording too. You know, so it's always good for me because I'm doing, recording and have to write a song about things that, that are not just on my heart or something I'm doing now. I have to read something and write a song and make sense of it, and give some courses and make something that's up and happy, that kind of stuff.
Mm.
And but it's cool. So I mean, I don't know, just do good things, and then just I'm in talk. I've helped, since my addiction, I've helped so many people with their addiction. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because,
McGeary too. Yeah.
but if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't be able to talk to them. So like, and I just I had a friend that just
Exactly. Yeah.
he relapsed and stuff, and I just had like half an hour talk with him and stuff, and I tell him like, hey, listen, I got a phone and it works 24/7, 7 days a week.
Call me, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So but before you make that bad decision to drink, just call me.
Yeah.
I'm good. I, just, that's what we do for each other. We've all been there. And people, there's times when I wanted to do my drug, and I said, oh, I got to call somebody, man. I really want to go out. I go, okay, cool. Let's talk. Let's go have some coffee. Let's go go to a meeting,
Somewhere.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if I didn't go through that experience, how could I help them? Because they wouldn't listen to me. Because you
Exactly.
don't know.
Because you haven't
So,
been through. Yeah.
mhm.
But you've been through like everything you said over this 53-minute talk, and I think it's wonderful that you can help people and they understand that you've been there too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's good. So I mean, like, so I'm into that kind of mode of just, do what I can to help people and do what I can to, you know, um, help them in their craft of songwriting, help them. In fact, after we're done this, I have a friend I'm going to the studio. I'm going to put
Okay.
some acoustic guitar parts on his song,
Nice.
and and we help each other. It's cool. I mean, I don't know. I'm in a really good space. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I wasn't always here.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I went through some stuff, but now I am, and it's just like wow. And then so, um, it's
Yeah.
funny. I have I was gonna say, I had oh, I guess just situation. I mean, at this point in my life, you know what I mean. It's like I wish I was younger because I could enjoy so much of this. You know what I mean.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I worked really hard for all what I got right now. You know what I mean, and I really appreciate it. But at the same time, if I lost it all, I'd still be okay.
Yeah.
Except for my Taylor guitar. I'd be sad if I lost
Oh man, Taylor guitars are great
that.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I have an older one. It's a cutaway
Yeah.
E314. Not the fanciest wood, but it just happened to be
It
that
just
day.
sounds good,
It
doesn't it?
sounds great. I
Yeah.
mean, like I've had other Taylor like the tinny. It's not good. This every time I play, people go like, "Dude, this guitar sounds." I know. I just lucked
Yeah.
out. Just it was just it was.
Yeah.
I think it was like I got it like it was a deal, but and I bought it new, and I played it. It was like it has this rich sound, and now that it's like 16, 17, 8 years old, you know what I mean? It sounds really good. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like it just it's like it's got some. Yeah, it's really cool. It's older than that, I guess. How old is it now? It must be 20 years old. So it's like the wood gets like a little bit, it's all worn out in here because I play the
Yeah.
heck out of it. My friend goes, I'll play that thing. You see it? It goes like, it has scars.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
That's,
one worn out guitars are the best sounding ever because I guess they've been through the ringer, as you would say.
yeah. And well, the wood gets a little drier and it gets
Yeah.
in more resonant and stuff like that. But it's just, the thing is, I feel like, well, I put this guitar, it's like 20 grand. Well, that's fine. Doesn't mean it's going to be the best sounding. You know what I mean?
I don't think people understand that money is not the best thing to do when you look for guitars because you look for sound and connection.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
connection is
Yeah.
very. I mean, you can't buy connection. You know,
Yeah. No, I mean,
you can
and that,
try.
you can try, but it's just some days like that guitar was made at the perfect time.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like wow, it just like sounds great. It just
and I
happens to be.
and I think that you buy like the 20,000 get $20,000 guitar like it's mainly for the brand name. I mean,
Yeah, no, I got a friend that's like
we
he's
go
got
through the
these.
same thing. Yeah.
He's got these. I mean, like, I don't know how much money you make, dude, but and he's an okay guitar player,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But he's got like these incredible, like expensive guitars. They're
Yeah.
beautiful. I will
Right.
say beautiful,
Yeah.
but um,
The price isn't worth the. Yeah.
I don't know. They don't sound like that kind of money that he spent, but they are
Right. Yeah.
beautiful,
Yeah.
and he
Oh
buys,
yeah.
there's this
Yeah.
company that he gets them from. It's like, and he loves it. So, hey, more power to you. You can afford it and you love them and you love playing them. He's got him in this beautiful glass case. I'm afraid to touch him. Like, I
Right.
make sure I
Yeah.
have my little buckle on,
Like a
like
little
I want
gold.
to
Yeah.
scratch it. 'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Sometimes
going to play
the
it a soft pick.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just finger pick, right? So, yeah.
Sometimes the least expensive guitar is the best thing ever for you. So
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
you can
have
always
like
afford
this
it.
old. I've been at. I was in when I was in that Texas thing. I thought I was gonna be there for a month. I said, "Oh man, there's no way I'm gonna be without a guitar for a month."
Right.
You know. And but I have this one I bring to Europe. It's a little tiny Yamaha. Thing's about this big, right? It fits under the seat of the airplane.
Mm-hmm.
It has a tuner in it. It has volume. It's electronic, so I can play. I played in Germany at a show,
Yeah.
and people are like, "Is that your guitar?" I go, "Yeah." Well, what? How you play it? And I plug in, they play, and they go, "What? That thing sounds like a real guitar."
Yeah.
It is a real
Well,
guitar. It's just tiny.
right.
So yeah, but it's so cool. I'm like, and so I bring it everywhere, and then no one bothers with it. It's just like, yeah, hey, that works. So you know what I mean. And then if I wanted to, and since it's like small, it doesn't make if I'm in the hotel room, it doesn't make a whole bunch of noise, so I can play it, and just when I'm writing, because I'm always writing,
Yeah.
especially. And Europe was fun, because the food in Europe. Have you been to Europe ever?
I am not. I always want to go. Yeah.
You will. You will.
Thank you.
Just say
Well,
yourself you're gonna go. No, I
I'll
mean,
go.
yeah. Well, people think it's super expensive, and it really isn't. What we did is we stayed out like we want to see a major city like Venice, right? We stayed outside the city, and the hotel was 50. It was clean. It was old school, but it was $50 a night,
Right.
and it had uh, um, a trolley thing that for $2.60 round trip, right, and it was like 10 steps from the hotel door.
Really.
You're in, and then you go to Venice, and
Yeah.
you stay
Yeah.
there, had a little meal, and then it drives you back,
Yeah.
and so I mean, and you can, if you know what you're doing, you don't, the markets here are so delicious. Like one time we were like in France, and we woke up and it was a farmer's market, and it was right across the street was the farmers. I mean, like literally like 30 feet away. So
Right.
we wake up and there's fresh French bread. This is what breakfast was. There was a dairy thing there. The guy made creme brulee. It was like the most delicious thing ever,
Mm.
right? And fresh picked strawberries from the farm. That was our breakfast. It's like, dude, this is
This
the
is the
most
greatest thing
delicious
ever.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And French bread is like, oh man.
Yeah.
They
My
just,
dad would do.
it's
My
just
dad would.
different.
My dad is a retired colonel, and he was stationed to Italy. Somewhere, and he's like the bread
Oh,
that you can't imagine. I'm like, I can't.
how good it is.
I
I know.
can. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they know
Well,
how to
I mean,
make bread.
so
We
it's
don't.
not,
You know.
well, the thing is all non-GMO stuff and it's all
Yeah.
fresh. Their thing is like we buy stuff and freeze it. They don't do that.
Right.
They go like, hey, I'll pick up bread at the bakery, and so I'll bring in some vegetables and some meat, and so it's always like fresh. That's it. That's their refrigerators are tiny, a
Right.
little. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's a little different. Their thing is they're like, I don't need the big house. I just need like a place.
Oh, right.
But they do stuff. They always travel. My friends in Scotland, yeah, I went down to Barcelona. We're going over to Ireland next week. And they're always doing stuff. You know. And
Right.
Ryanair, this is great. There's a thing called Ryanair. I should get paid for this. Ryanair. But we went. I had those two shows in Scotland. We were in Belgium. So from me and my wife, for both of us, right? For both of us to go over and back, right, and round trip was $99. Really? That's it. Belgium to Scotland, 99 bucks. And,
That's amazing.
hello?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm down.
like people going like, I mean, we went to Marrakesh from Madrid. It was $34 one way. So it was like 70. I mean, we're traveling like different country. I mean, $34. I mean, you can't even take a train ride here in the United States for $34. bucks. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I mean, it's really fun when you go over there. You can really, if you know, you know, if you ever go over, you call me first, and I'll give you some
Yeah.
tips. You know what I
Actually,
mean?
you
But
can
it's
come with
fun.
me. Yeah. We'll go together. How about
I
that?
mean, the thing is, like, yeah, there you go. They had, I mean, like, you go to Rome. Listen, in Rome near the Colosseum, there's a thing called a Forum, and it has their old temples and stuff. There's a door there, right? This door was built 400 years before Jesus was born.
Mm,
Okay,
mm.
so it's like 2,400 years old, and the locking mechanism still works. Like I could put the key in, and it works. It's 2,400 years old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's like an
So,
aqueduct. I mean, it's just
blow
like,
my
oh my,
mind. Right. Yeah.
how they do it?
Right.
You know, in Trier, there's a bridge that the Romans built, and they still use it. It's two
Yeah.
thousand years old.
Yeah.
It's like what? You know, so,
Oh,
but no, it's cool. So,
I
but you
get
know,
you.
listen. I love my country. I love our country.
Oh yeah.
I really do. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And and most people are good. And everything that I've met, you know, most of the people are nice and good-hearted and do the right thing kind of people. You know what I mean? We have to remember that. And then remember, and then while we're here, and then it's like whatever is good for the people, let's do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes it's not like give them everything they want, because that's not always good for every one of the people. But you have to give them, like, you know, a chance, because that's the whole American dream. You know what I mean? I mean, when the Irish first came over here, don't hire the Irish. We don't want them. So what the Irish did, they did all the low jobs that no one else wanted to do, right?
Right.
Italians came over. Don't hire the Italians. We don't want Italians over here. What the Italians do? They did the low job, and then the kids educated, and then, you know, it's like that. It's all the same thing. We're all immigrants, unless you're American Indian,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing.
We overtook
And
him.
that's a good thing too. And the other thing is a good thing is, like, when you go over there, that's your history. I mean, we have history here, but
Yeah.
that's like your real history. You
Right.
know, I don't know what do you ever do a genetics thing, like, you know, the
My sister
genealogy,
did.
where you're from?
My sister did,
Well,
and I
then
gotta find. And I gotta find out more from her. But she told me what we are a long time ago. I don't remember it now, but I need to reach back out to her and see what we really are.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if your sister is, it's same as you.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I need to contact her. And yeah,
But it's Yeah, but it's cool though. It's like all of a sudden, like, you go over there, you see these castles and stuff that are like, you know, like 1,000 years old, and you know, and these cathedrals. There's one in
yeah,
Cordoba, Spain. It was a mosque, and they put a cathedral in it. So it's a mosque and a cathedral together. You just see this thing. It's incredible. It's like, oh my God, it's just the biggest, most beautiful thing you ever saw in your life. And it's like, and it's funny because back then, when the year 1000, the Christians, the Muslims, and the Jews all lived together. And it wasn't about, like, yeah, you have your religion, you have yours, that's good, all good. You know, no one's fighting. It was all about, like, medicine and knowledge and creating, and, you know, it was like this whole blend. It was like beautiful. But then, you know, as things go, you know, egos get in there, and then, you know, things
yeah.
get messed up.
That's
But
true.
it's cool. But they've got a great history, and you know, and you see that stuff, and that, I don't know, it's just good to see where you come from. It's like, you know, go to Ireland, nicest people ever. The
Yeah, yeah.
nicest.
That's what I
They're
heard.
so,
Yeah, yeah.
oh yeah, I mean, they're just like, you know, and so friendly and nice, you know, stuff like that. And so I mean, and I think too, like, people go like, well, the French don't like Americans. Yeah, they
They
do. Just
do.
don't be a butthead. You know what I mean? We've had the
Right.
nicest. No one.
Yeah.
I've never anybody that's been mean. I mean, because I respect their culture. I
Right.
respect their country. You know what I mean? And, you know, just, you know, learn, you know, a please and thank you. You know, hello, and a few little things. You know, in their language. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, don't be loud. You know, don't be an idiot. You know, I'm sure you wouldn't be that, but,
No.
you know, but it's just like, but, you know, I've seen some people like, oh man, you're not doing any favors for the Americans right here. You know, because they were just being loud and obnoxious, and I'm like, oh geez, here we go. But, you know, but I've had, like, things that, you know, were nice things that people did for us, you know, in every country. And so, and that's because we always respected their culture,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and that kind of stuff. And just, I love it, you know, I love it over there. We're gonna go. We didn't go this year because we're doing a lot of projects in the house.
Right.
We were there for 10 weeks last year. That was a long time. That was way fun.
That's a good time.
Oh my, yeah, we got a car, drove
It
everywhere.
is a
Yeah.
good time. Yeah. I have the feeling like you almost did not want to come back here. You know, you just wanted to stay there, which you can. I mean,
Yeah, well, I mean,
if you can't,
we
you know.
we love, we loved it over there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's fun travel. 'Cause just to see things like, it's like just, the things that you see, there's, just different. I mean, if you like bratwurst, okay, in Germany, right?
Mm,
The bratwurst is about this big,
yes.
and
Huge.
the bun is this big.
Right.
It's just a holder.
Yeah.
It's not to be interfere, not to interfere with the bratwurst. So
Right.
when you're hungry and you're like, oh, and there's that bratwurst grilling on the grill, so good. It's like, oh my god, it's so delicious. And we were in Dresden and stuff, and there was a fair, and it was like the first time because after COVID, it was a big fair, and they had a band there, and they sound like they were New Orleans, like that kind of stuff. And they got this guy singer in the band had sort of sound like Dr. John. It was so cool, and the food there was like delicious, and man, but the broth was so good. I was just super hungry. I never forget it. It was so good. I was like, that was the best bratwurst I ever had. So,
Yeah.
what else? You
Nice.
know, but all good.
Yeah.
You know,
So we do
so
have.
whatever. So
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. I'm waiting for you
Oh,
because
okay.
this is your show. I'm just a talk.
Hey man, you're great right now. So I love you to death right now. But we do have one more question for you because I know you have to go. I know we're sort of pressed for
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
So this might be the hardest question I've asked today. But I know you can do it.
Okay.
Okay, so is there a band, artist, or song that you can listen to right now, but you can't tell me or your wife
hmm
or anybody else how it makes you feel inside? It's so ingrained in your soul.
Yeah, I tell you exactly what's it. There's a song by Peter Gabriel, "Don't Give Up,"
Mm,
and Kate Bush sang it with him.
yeah.
And during my addiction, during my recovery, that song really meant so much to me.
Mm,
Because I don't give up.
yeah.
You have and that if I think about it, can make me cry. So
Yeah.
it's like, but that was a song that really touched me, and stuff like that. I mean, Peter Gabriel was one of my favorites. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
I don't know if you ever see it. If you go to YouTube, put Peter Gabriel Heroes. He does a thing with an orchestra.
Okay.
It is so
I
beautiful,
love Peter. Yeah,
and
I
it's
love Peter.
beautiful. But yeah, it's cool. He does the David Bowie song. It's really cool. But no, I was gonna say, yeah, that song. Um, yeah, just yeah. I mean, it
Those.
means
Yes.
for my soul, and it's because it was like I was in that situation. I just didn't want to give up. My wife didn't want to give up on me, and I didn't want to give up on me either. And my
Uh,
kids didn't. I don't want to give up on my kids.
yeah.
So it was like we were, and so um, I made some bad choices back then. Doing drugs. So, but then and that was my recovery song. So when I hear that one, it just reminds me of like, and now I look where I'm at now. I'm like, wow,
Yeah. Right. And like how
good.
many people
It's
you're
good now.
helping because of that. You know. I mean,
Exactly,
you're
and and
helping.
just and
Yeah.
and 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 making good choices. It's just like it comes down to it. It's addiction is evil. Okay, people think like, oh, you want to be an addict. Oh yeah, you know what I want to do? I want to ruin my life. I want to ruin my health. I want to ruin my job. I want to ruin my relationship. I want to go broke. I want to kill myself. I mean, I want to almost be probably shot or arrested. Yeah, that's because that's what I really wanted to plan on doing when I became an addict. No, that's not what it is. You know what I mean? So, and it is a disease. You know what I mean? Like anything else. And but the thing is, but it comes down to like like when I tell these guys like this, I go, listen, if I said you had cancer and you're gonna die in 3 months, but you can go to a place for an hour a day, right? A meeting, right? An hour a day, and your cancer would stop and you'd live. Would you go? Well, yeah. Well, addiction will kill you. Okay. So
Yeah.
can you go to a meeting an hour a day? Because I know you can find out of 24 hours. You can find because there's always meetings. There's 24
Yeah.
hour club and stuff. You can find a place. Okay. So go and do it, and then you'll live. So I mean that's what it comes down to. I mean that's and what and then yeah, and then there's the meeting is just part of it. There's a whole that whole 12-step program is a thing of like really just getting real with yourself. You know what I mean? And then be able to, and then learn how to forgive people that wronged you and that kind of stuff. So they don't to do it every to you every day. And you know, and then you make an amends and get rid of the guilt and get rid of the shame and all that kind of stuff. And then start living again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I tell those I say, do you want to give up one thing for everything, or do you want to give up everything for one thing?
Right.
And
That's
that's
powerful
what it comes
too.
down to. Yeah, I
That's
know. So
powerful.
that's it, and that so it's a strong phrase, and I use it a lot. Saying so, but good. But yeah, this has been great, man. I think we've had fun, right? You
We've
start.
had, yeah.
I'm a
Like
talker. I'm
like you
Irish Catholic. You know what I mean?
said. Hey
Oldest
man,
of
this
10.
is great. This is great so far. But going back on how music saves you. Imagine how much your music is saving somebody else. Ah,
I
because your
yeah.
music is worldwide, and that's not. I mean, so
Mm-hmm.
you're doing great things, and yeah, and
Yeah. I mean, if I
you know that it's helping people get through whatever problems they have too. You know.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that there's some like there's this that hold on song. People every time I play it, like somebody comes to me, I have
Yeah.
somebody needs to hear that song, Tim. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Stuff like that. Lucky to find love again. I have a lot of friends that, they're older and trying to find a relationship and they're having a hard time. And I wrote this song, it's called Lucky to Find Love Again, and it's just about, that situation and they resonate, man. People, wow, I love that song. It's a hit song, blah blah. Like, okay. I gotta record it sometime. That was
Yeah.
I've been recording everyone else's stuff, and I just put out a new single. I'll send it to you after we're done.
Yeah.
But
That's another question
it's
I have
called
for you. Are we coming out with a full blown album, or are you just gonna do singles? Because many bands are
what?
going the singles route instead of making real albums. Do you or like?
Yeah,
I mean, like, what your
I think the thing with like no one's really buying CDs anymore.
right?
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's pretty much so it's streaming. So the thing is, I can do an album, you know what I mean, with a lot
Yeah.
of songs on it, you know what I mean. But the best thing to do is just do a single, like put one out every 6 7 weeks, or 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Put a new single out, new single out, new single out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just keep on doing it. You know what I mean? Then people get it. So and then the thing is because what do you now? I do have CDs and I go to these house concerts because people a lot of times just want to have something
Something to
that
take
they were
home.
at the
Yeah.
show
Yeah. Yeah.
and you signed it and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that kind of and that's something else. But that's a whole different ball game.
Right.
But most of the time, I just I was thinking of put like I mean I have enough songs. I mean I could put an EP together like tomorrow. Just
Right.
like boom.
Yeah, because I know
But
on Apple Music, I saw you have some EPs and a lot of singles, but
right,
no full album yet. Right? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I could I could do it, but I don't know if it's actually smart to do that now.
Yeah, because I
You know what I mean?
because to be honest, like you bring home your full CD, right? A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
listen to 2 or 3 songs. That's it. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
And like when you get yeah. So I mean, it used to be album markets back in the day.
Yeah.
Well before it was singles. Remember like 45
Oh
singles,
yeah.
with the
Yeah.
big hole like
Yeah.
and then it got into albums like in the 70s and that. But then it like then it got like it got a little bit it's turned back to singles, that kind of stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? But listen, I really have to sort of go or I'm going to be
Oh
late
yeah,
on this.
yeah.
Okay?
This is it. Yeah. So everybody go to timmcgeary.com and everything's there with you. And
Sure. And
I'll just
can I tell you something too? Go to
yes.
timmcgeary.com and send me a message, and then I'll, and like, an email, and I'll send you like a CD. I'll send you an MP3 of a
Nice.
song.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right?
Perfect. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for coming on.
Hey, thanks so much, man.
Yes,
We're
sir. All
having
right.
fun today. All right.
All right.
Bye-bye. All
Bye.
right.
See ya.
Bye.